My name is William Pruitt, and I'm reporting on Module 1, Personal Information and the 3 Levels of Government Control of Public Education. A little bit about myself. I'm originally from Texas. I've lived in Kansas for 7 years, and I have 3 children. 2 are in college and 1 fixing to graduate this school year. I've been a special education teacher for 10 years and also a school psychologist for 6 years. Currently, I work in a low incidence classroom for the past 6 years in Wichita Public Schools. I have a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a doctorate, so I'm just getting my administrative certificate. For the topics today, we'll talk about what kinds of support do school districts get, who's in charge, the levels of government, and how it supports students. For public school support from all levels of government, locally, according to the Center for Public Justice, local control of schools is delegated to the school districts. Each district is governed by an elected school board, and one of the responsibilities is for them to collect property taxes to provide funding to the school district. At the state level, the Center for Public Justice reports that they delegate their authority to local jurisdictions. They develop standards for subjects in addition to math, reading, such as science and social studies, and they provide half of the school's operating cost. Federally, the Center for Public Justice report that the federal government provides about 10% of the public school's operating costs, and the federal government cannot force states to comply with their mandates. The local school board, their responsibilities are to establish their curriculum, hiring of staff, creating a school calendar, and to collect property taxes. The school board members in Wichita Public Schools are volunteers. For the Kansas State Department of Education, their responsibilities are accountability and oversight of government-run schools. They establish educational standards such as for standards besides math and reading, and they also provide funding to the local districts. And all State Department of Education employees are paid. Federally, according to the Brown Center on Education Policy, their role is to ensure that no student is denied the right to an equal educational opportunity. They should provide compensatory funding to facilitate access to educational opportunities for high-need students. And they should support educational research and the gathering and dissemination of information, and also support conditions to promote continuous improvement of state and local education systems. They do provide funding to the states, and they provide information to evaluate the success of school systems. And the Department of Education are paid employees. Who has the most power over public education? In my opinion, it's the federal government. They have the most power and control over our public education system. According to Brandon Palouse, he states that the ESEA offered states funding for education programs on a conditional basis. This means in order for the states to receive the certain funding, they must follow the guidelines developed by the federal government or lose that additional money. For Component 6.1, it states evaluate, develop, and implement management, communication technology, school-level governance, and operation systems that support each student's learning needs and promote the mission and vision of the school. I believe it's the school board, local control, will have the greatest influence over this component because they are responsible for the everyday management of the school's operation. For Component 6.2, which states evaluate, develop, and implement management for a data-informed and equitable resourcing plan that supports school improvement and student development. This component is most influenced by the state government. The state is responsible for setting the educational benchmarks and to improve the achievement of their students. And finally, component 6.3, it states reflectively evaluate, communicate about, and implement laws, rights, policies, and regulations to promote student and adult success and well-being. This component is most influenced by the federal government. The federal government has implemented many regulations to shape our public education. On the question of educational success, I just indicated at this time I'm unsure how to answer this question. I believe that the local government knows what's best for their students, but as we read, most states need the additional funding from the federal government, but they must incorporate the mandates from the federal government. For the CLO correlations, the reading did address all three. For this assignment, local, state, and federal governments were addressed and information was provided on how they affect the local school. I feel that this assignment was relevant to the stated objectives of the class. It is important to know where our decisions come from and who's making them. I don't think anything needs to be changed for this assignment. On reflection, I don't think that this assignment will change the way I teach or learn. As a future school leader, this assignment will help understand why districts do the things that they do. And a couple of them, one relevant is the mask mandate that we're under now, and also the rules and regulations we follow under the special education umbrella. And here are the references for the assignment. Thanks for listening.